All right. I think we can start the sessions now. Yeah, because it's 8:01 already, right? Hi, welcome everyone. I'm Mei Pei. I'm the host for today's first sessions of Study This or That Season 3. Today, we are presenting the topic on MBA and ACCA accounting in the UK University. To have some interaction started, could you please type in the chat box on the city that you are currently in? Yeah, can you share where you are currently now? Are you from the KL, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia? Okay, that's good. We have one from Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, Kevin. Okay, that's good. Thanks for answering. Okay, thank you everyone for answering. Let me introduce you on AECC Global. AECC Global is a university placement agency that specializes in overseas education. Do follow us and get in touch with us via our AECC social media channels or visit our website for more information. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any question during the presentation, please type them into the Q&A box. I will bring them up at the end of the presentation. Without further ado, let's welcome our two presenters today. It's our honor to have Mr. Kevin Dunn, who is the Southeast Asia and South Asia Regional Manager from Coventry University, who will be sharing more on the MBA courses in the UK. And we also have Miss Maggie Yong, who is the Student Recruitment Manager APAC from BPP University, who will be sharing more on the accounting in the UK University. Welcome both.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Welcome. Okay, so let me start the first questions to Mr. Kevin. Kevin, would you like to introduce the MBA courses that Coventry offers?
Of course, thank you. And thank you to AECC for inviting me here today. So MBA courses, there are many different MBA types, some that require work experience, some that don't require work experience. When I first started working in international education 10, 11 years ago, an MBA wasn't popular and something has evolved and changed over the past decade. So Coventry have two campuses and they're both designed for different student sets. So our London campus is designed for what we term as fresher MBA, so students that have recently graduated that do not necessarily have work experience. For these students, we have an MBA in global business, international marketing, global finance, human resource management, and international fashion management. For students that have 2 years or more of managerial experience, we would invite them to our Coventry main campus, where we have general MBAs, but also specialist MBAs in, for example, healthcare management or artificial intelligence. So there's a whole array of different MBAs for different student types, depending upon what their needs are here at Coventry. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so how about Maggie? Maggie, would you want to introduce the ACCA course at BPP University?
Sure. Thank you, Maypei, for inviting me here. And hi, nice to meet all of you here. So to start with, I would like to introduce our ACCA professional accounting courses that BPP offers. We do have advanced diploma in accounting and finance, MSc accounting and finance, and also the ACCA professional paper where we can do papers by papers in BPP itself. So for these courses, it's actually offered in our London, Birmingham, and also our Manchester Center. So yeah, we have these three main courses that can the students can do for accounting, accountancy, or also ACCA. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Maggie. Yeah, how about Kevin? There are so many types of MBA. How to determine which MBA is more preferable for the future and career growth?
Wow, that's such a difficult question because there are so many variations of MBAs. Of course, MBA means a Master in Business Administration. So in a nutshell, you have general MBAs, executive MBAs, specialist MBAs, MBAs that don't require work experience, And most MBAs look at core subjects. So they will nearly always look at finance, marketing, human resources, and some degree of strategy. And then the next 4 modules is often a specialization. The MBA is the most popular course across the world. It's the most studied program available out there. And it's important to note that an MBA is a generalist degree that focuses on the different subject types. Now, the question was, how does somebody determine which MBA is most appropriate for them? It's so subjective and there are so many variables, and I'm speculating here. I suspect in the UK, there's probably over 200 different MBAs available. So my advice to any student that is thinking about an MBA, speak to AECC to actually have one-on-one counselling. But in short, a general MBA is designed for a student that doesn't necessarily want a specialization. It's a pure business MBA. One with a specialization allows a student to almost, if I compare it to the American system, major minor. You get your core business modules and then you get your specialization if you want it. An executive MBA is one that may carry additional accreditation beyond simply the university stamp. It may be AMBER accredited, but often the limitations to students are what's their CGPA or what did they graduate from high school, what's their work experience, and also what's their budget. Because as we talk about different MBAs, there is a varying price range. And in the UK, it can be anywhere from, I imagine, £10,000 to £100,000 for an MBA. So I'm going to sidestep that question and encourage students to say, right, I'm going to speak with AECC. I'm going to tell them my budget, my CGPA, and my work experience. And only then would we be able to respond to that question specifically. It's a minefield. There's many courses, but the good news is there's an MBA for everybody, depending upon what their personal needs are.
Thank you so much for the well explanation, Kevin. Yeah, I'm sure many students still wondering what is it, how to choose the MBA, but you are right. Feel free to contact our AECC counselor, then we can get them to understand the different MBA available. Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Maggie, what is the study roadmap for ACCA?
Okay, in terms of to start your ACCA journey, it's depending on whether what level is your high school qualification, where some of the students graduate at year 11 and some students, they graduate at year 12. Normally, if you are year 11 student graduate in from like Malaysia SPM, you will definitely have to go through a CAT course, a Certified Accounting Technician, or you can actually take up the Foundation in Accounting from ACCA. And with this, you can actually get a 3 exemptions from 9 papers of the 9 fundamental papers. And you can then proceed to our advanced diploma, where it's actually will take you about a year from this advanced diploma for you to complete the remaining of the 6 papers. And then you can move on to our Master in Accounting and Finance, where you are supposed to finish up your 4 professional paper and also 3 BPP modules from our institute itself. And upon the completion of this, you can actually complete all your ACCA papers with a master as well. Yeah. So this is normally how the students will be able to go through the from year 11. But if let's say you are year 12 student, for example, like you have A-levels or STPM, you can actually go directly into our advanced diploma, but of course without any exemption. And therefore this advanced diploma will take you like a little bit longer, like 1 additional semester longer, where you have to do 1.5 years and before you can proceed to this Master in Accounting and Finance, in order for you to complete your 4 professional papers and also the 3 BPP modules, where we include digital leadership, data science, and also a business project. Yeah. So yeah, this is how your ACCA accountancy journey will looks like if you are from this level of qualification.
All right, thank you, Maggie.
Yeah, no problem.
So next we move to Kevin. Kevin, can you tell us about the fundamentally, what is the difference between MSc and MBA?
Yes, so an MSc, for those that don't know, means a Master in Science. An MBA is a Master in Business Administration. But in a business context, it doesn't really mean science at all. Now, history lesson. Back in the 19th century, most of the universities we know today didn't exist, but those that did exist were teaching MScs. So they were allowing students to become technical experts at their subject areas. Coventry's roots go back to 1843, and at the time we were teaching design subjects. In the 20th century, business or large organizations were inundated with technical experts, but they didn't have the skills for individuals to have an overview and make a strategic decision, taking into consideration the different components of a business function. So in the US, they developed the MBA. The MBA was born. As mentioned earlier, the MBA focuses on the fundamentals of business. So as mentioned, it's marketing. I always have to look up as I think and remind myself, marketing, human resource, finance, strategy, sometimes economics, and then a specialization if appropriate. So I don't like to call an MBA a generalist program because it can also be a specialized program. But an MSc, or Master in Science, as mentioned, was introduced back in the 19th century across the UK, Europe, and most modern countries. There's also an MA. So the analogy I'm going to give is across marketing programs, and it's the easiest way to distinguish. If you were to look at curriculum for a marketing program, MBA, 4 business modules, 4 marketing modules. The MSc, let's say in digital marketing, will give you 4 specialized marketing modules. So if you really want to be an expert at something, it would normally be the MSc that you would undertake. Historically, what would happen is students would study their undergrad, they'd study their MSc, they'd go off and work, and then 10 years later, they may come back for an MBA. But what's happened is trends have changed and students are now replacing an MSc with an alternative MBA. So in short summary, an MSc will make you an expert in a specific area. An MBA will give you the fundamentals of business. So as a business leader, as a business owner, whilst you may not be a finance or a marketing expert, if you own a business, you need to make a strategic decision, taking that into consideration with your specialization. I hope that makes sense. And if I've left anything out, please present questions in the chat function, but in the simplest forms, that's the distinguishing differences between an MSc and an MBA.
That's a very clear explanation, at least to me. So attendees, if you're not clear with it, feel free to put your questions under the chat box, under the Q&A box, yeah. So next I move to Maggie. Maggie, what's the similarity or difference between ACCA versus ICAEW? Because we often get this question from our students too.
Let me just give you some of the examples where, for example, like ACCA, the certificate was actually, or exam is actually organized by the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, like ACCA UK, while the exams for the ICAEW, they are actually organized by the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, ICAEW, in the UK itself. But if looking at the papers of the pattern, they actually have like the similarity where they also have, each of them, they actually have like 3 levels. Like ACCA, they have like applied knowledge, they have applied skills, and then the last one would be strategic professional papers. And for ICAEW, they actually have like certificate levels, professional levels, and also the advanced level itself, yeah, if you to complete the entire ICAEW. And looking at the duration of ACCA, some of the students might take a longer period of time in order for them to complete from the fundamental to the professional, because they can actually take like within a 10 years period in order for you to do so from counting from the first successful exam that they have done for ACCA. But however, most of our students, if they are not into the working, they might take about 3 or maximum 4 years in order for them to complete the entire course. While for ICAEW, we believe that most of the candidates, they can actually complete the entire or all the levels within the span time of like a 3 years, yeah, just like for 3 years. And if looking at the fees for ACCA, it is very the overall cost of the course lies between like maybe between like 1,000 to £2,000, which this can include their registration fees, their annual subscription fees, their exam fees, and also the exemption fees. But the entire overall cost will be they have like a huge difference, because it depends on when they register for their exam, because they actually have like early bird discount or late penalty. Yeah, but for ICAEW, the annual student fee is like just like £180 plus VAT, and then their exam fees is like fixed, where they have like certificate level fixed at £72, professional level like fixed at £103, advanced level £175, and their case study is about £267. Yeah, so yeah, so this is mainly the similarity or some of the differences that they have over ACCA and ICAEW. But if you ask me, there's actually more, but for us to just cover at this session, yeah, let's talk about this first. And if you'd like to know more, we can actually have another session with ACCA. Yeah, we will actually can go through more, yeah, on the similarity or the differences. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it.
Thank you, Maggie. Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kevin, why and when does a person should consider an MBA degree?
Two-word answer: anytime.
Anytime.
You know, I was once at the KLCC Exhibition Centre on behalf of Coventry, and this possibly 13, 14-year-old boy came across and said, I want to study an MBA. And I thought to myself, hang on, you need to complete your high school, your undergrad, then your postgrad. You know, some people have a mapped out journey, and those that do are very, very lucky, because they know what will take them to where they're going. I consider myself, in simple terms, a travel agent. I will ask a student where do they want to go, and I will advise on the form of transport they need to take to get them there. So if they want to become a business leader, the form of transport will be their undergrad, their master's, maybe sometimes a PhD, and that will get them to where they want to be. So students can consider any time. What I would encourage, however, is that early applications, and I assume this might be the same for BPP as well, allow students to access a greater share of scholarships. Scholarship deadlines are normally much sooner or much earlier. So the big scholarships, for example, the British government scholarship chevening through the British Council, that's often, the deadline for that is in November for the following September. So I would say there's no deadline as such. Even if you contact us in July, if there's capacity, we will be open to accepting you, subject to you qualifying for the course. I would say it's more about if you need some financial support, financial aid in order to help you secure your MBA, then an earlier application is better. I've seen applications already for September 2022, and we're yet to see September 2021. So at a student's convenience, all I would say is a later application may limit your options and may also limit your access to any funding that you need to complete your MBA.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Yeah. Maggie, is ACCA a must in order for students to be accountant? What are the differences between the Bachelor in Accounting and ACCA?
Normally, it's a yes if you want to be a certified accountant. But if let's say talking about the accounting degree and also the ACCA professional qualification, definitely there is quite some differences where if you pursue an accounting degree, normally an academic degree will be awarded by a university, while the ACCA professional accounting qualification will be awarded by ACCA professional body itself. And it's also depending on the modules that you'll be studying, where if you are doing an accounting degree, normally you will cover like a very broad areas of subject, as the course structure is made up of the core accounting modules and also some of the elective which is relevant to any field, like maybe perhaps you can do bachelor in accounting, major or minor in marketing or business, something like that. Yeah, where you have to do some of the modules from this area. And if let's say for ACCA, normally they will very focus on the technical aspect of the principle of accounting only. So basically you do very straightforward papers where you do the fundamental paper 1, 2, 3 until 9, and you do your professional paper, something like that. Yeah. And if you ask me which one is faster, for accounting degree, normally they will take up to like 5 to 6 years, depending from which level that you start. For example, if you start from year 11, it will take you approximately 5 years, like it covers foundation, and then 3 years of degree and 1 year of ACCA. If you were to do a master, it will be additional 1 year, which is 5 to 6 years. But if you do ACCA from your year 11, maybe perhaps you can start with your CAT for 1 year and our advanced diploma for a year, and also your master in accounting and finance, which cover your 4 professional paper as well. And this takes only like 3 years from your SPM. And lastly, if we talk about accounting degree, normally students, they can actually branch into a career where both in and outside the accountancy field. While and normally for if you graduate from like ACCA, normally the ACCA members, they work in the accounting and finance field only. So yeah, so you can see that actually there are quite some differences if you take up the accounting degree or also the main ACCA qualification. Yeah.
I see. Thank you for the explanation, Maggie. Yeah. All right. Next, we move back to Kevin. Kevin, just now you mentioned there are so many different types of MBA. So what are the key elements to look for when choosing MBA degree?
You know, I could always answer these questions with one word or many words, and I always opt for many words. The answer is why. Why do you want an MBA? What are your short-term and long-term objectives? Quite often in Thailand and Indonesia, I meet lots of students that have a family business. So their short-term goal is not to work for the family business. They want to spend as long as they can pursuing their own career before mum and dad retires and they have to go back into it. So first of all, understand why. And the key elements are, an MBA is not an easy program. It is a challenging program, as are all master's degrees, as are all undergraduate programs. If it was easy, I would have credentials as long as my leg, but sadly I don't. So it's understanding yourself in that, okay, mum and dad have said you have to have an MBA because there is some prestige that goes with it. An MBA and an MSc academically is on the same level, but by way of branding and perception, it's actually significantly different. Why do you want an MBA? And often it is a parental choice. And then beyond that, it will be understanding, okay, so what's my preference? What's going to motivate me to complete my studies if I'm a younger student? As a mature student, you have absolute control. If you've got professional experience, then it is yours and possibly your partner's decision. But what will keep mum and dad happy? What will keep me happy? And what will motivate me? But I did mention this before. Whenever we make a choice, we always have to consider the limitations. So some of the key elements would be, what are the entry requirements? Do I qualify? Do I have the financial capability? Does it have my specializations? Do I want further accreditation beyond the institutional stamp? Also, what sort of class group do I want? So in some MBA classes, the average age is, let's say, 32. The fresher MBAs, it's 22, 23, so it's a much younger demographic. So once again, I've not really answered the question purely because it's so subjective and variable depending upon the individual's needs. It is distinctly different from course to course, and that will be responded to at an individual level based upon the limitations. But if anyone contacts AECC or Coventry, if you understand why, we will be able to align you with the perfect course that works for you.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. I think I strongly agree with you that when a student decides to do an MBA, they need to also start thinking what is the purpose for them to do the MBA. Yeah, different people will have different purposes. That's a very good answer for it. Okay, next, Maggie, how do I know whether ACCA is the right thing for me?
Okay, actually, this is quite a good question where normally I will tell the student, the first thing that you need to do is you need to learn and read more about ACCA and see whether this is really for you or not. And then the second thing is look at the examination. Is that what you really want? Because, you know, sometimes students, they actually have preference on the types of examination. So I would ask the student, like, maybe you should go and understand how their exam or how is the pattern of the exam. And yeah, you should go and check all the exam details. And finally, they should make like a quick self-assessment where you have to ask yourself, do you really, are you someone who are really love like challenges? Because, you know, ACCA is considered as a very quite difficult exam. And if you have the attitude of not like easy give up, or you have the strong spirit, because, you know, if you fail one ACCA paper, you have to do the receipt, and you must do the receipt in order for you to finish up the entire thing. So if you really love this hard and tough exam, then maybe perhaps you can consider this course. And the second thing is, if let's say, do you have like a very strong English language? Because the exam papers are actually prepared and by the board of the qualified expert accountants from UK, and the question style is might be a bit different compared to our what we are doing in from our local university. So if you think that you really you are able to do so, then your answer is yes, then yes, you can actually consider of taking this course. And the last one, I would say that if you think that or see yourself like as a chartered accountant in the future, so yeah, then yeah, you may consider this, because many people will actually sometimes they will assume that accountants only deals with numbers, where this is normally not the case, because you need to understand the law of the countries, and then the standard deals within the accounting issues, and then the company's business plan. So basically, if you think that yeah, you might be wants to be an accountant, then this might be a career for you. So if you think that all this is a yes for your answer, or when you do a self-check, then yeah, yes, maybe you can consider ACCA as one of the course that you should do.
That's a very good information. Yeah, that especially I think tonight we have some SPM viewers, you know, or IGCSE students. They're pretty young, so they do not know, you know, whether ACCA or ACCA especially suit them or not. That's a very good tips. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah. Okay. Next, I want to ask Kevin. Could you please share some insights on how the Coventry MBA is being conducted?
Yes, I was born 20 years too late. I wish I was born 20 years later. Because the MBA doesn't have any exams. For me, when I was assessed at university, it was primarily exam-based. And of course, when you work, you're never examined. Simply, if you do a good job, you get a promotion, you get a pay rise. It's a very different assessment method in a professional environment. And that's been adapted into an academic context. So the evaluation is through group projects, excuse me, individual projects, assignments, company reports. And it really tests your ability to perform well in a job. Our MBAs include extended professional practice. That's where, so normally semester 1, semester 2, that's classroom time where you're researching your various modules that are relevant to your MBA. Semester 3 is either an internship. So for students that want to gain further work experience, they can do so. It's a consulting project, which is where students work for business on a research project, but they're on campus. There's a traditional dissertation. They can complete an entrepreneurship project, which is about you developing your business plan as part of your academic studies. But then when you graduate, you've got your business plan ready to execute. But some students want more work experience than simply 3 months. So the extended professional practice allows a student to work in a controlled environment for up to 9 months. So then they graduate actually with some decent work experience as well as their qualification. And I said controlled environment. And the reason why that is that if a student goes off to work, whether it's on their 3-month or their 9-month internship, we need to be able to evaluate that. And if they're just working in a business day to day, it would be impossible to evaluate. So when they work for organizations, it's project-based, so that they then write a company report, and essentially they may be given a marketing problem. And they will evaluate that over the period, they'll research it and present their findings back to the business as a potential solution. So the way in which it's delivered, it feels quite unusual at our London campus. Students arrive and they expect a traditional campus, which is what they have at Coventry main campus, 30,000 students versus 2,000 in London. In London, when they arrive, they feel like they're at work. That's a conscious effort to get students to adapt to their surroundings. And being in the workplace, there are soft skills that nobody teaches you, etiquette, that come naturally from being in a work environment. So we often throw curveballs at students. We throw problems at them. They complain and say, this is not working, but that's a conscious effort, because in a workplace, your seniors will give you problems to deal with and you have to come up with solutions. So an example, we will mix up nationality groups. At London, there's 110 different nationalities. At Coventry, it's about 140. We will purposely mix up those demographics, purely because if you work for a multinational organization, it's likely that you're going to be working from people across the world. So in these projects, you will adapt your communication skills to be able to ensure that people from sub-Saharan Africa, from Europe, the Americas, and anywhere else in the world can hear the point that you're making. So we do throw problems at students which happen in the workplace, which don't feel like a traditional academic environment. But the biggest one for me, if there were no exams and I was assessed on how well I do my job, I would have got a distinction. But I was examined, so my results were slightly different, but we won't go there.
Thank you, Kevin. I think I will contact you after the sessions today, because it sounds so interesting for the MBA at Coventry. I may want to join the MBA program too. Sounds really very interesting. All right, next, okay, Maggie, can I ask you about this? Why professional accounting qualification is really worth for the money and time?
Okay, let me just tell you, you know what, because this professional accounting, normally it will be in high demand. For example, like in Malaysia, we actually need about 60,000 of professional accountants by the year of 2020. But guess how many that we have at the moment? We actually have about 36,000 only, which is like 50% lesser from what we should have at the moment. So basically, our government is putting in like initiatives to promote this accountancy as a profession. And so rest assured that if you choose this pathway, you will have plenty of support from everywhere, including the government as well. And yeah, the second thing is actually there is a survey from the Committee of the to strengthen the accountancy profession. The employers actually state that about 64% of them, they actually indicate that their main criteria to when they recruit the professional or staff or employee, they normally would love to have them with professional qualification and they have actually relevant market experience. Yeah, so I would say that this is one of the two reasons why this professional accountancy is really worth your time and also the money. The next one I want to say is like the professional qualification is actually globally recognized. For example, like nowadays we are living in an increasing mobile world where organizations is like everywhere. Like you see, we have like offices in Malaysia, and some will be in Singapore, and yeah, at the other part of the world. So basically, if you have this professional qualification, definitely is globally recognized, where you do not have any issues on to work at the other offices that you have in the other part of the world. And last but not least, it's actually added a prestigious acronyms to your name card, where I think if you look at the ACCA Chartered Accountants name card, normally they will add behind their name, they actually have like ACCA, APA or ACA in their at the end of their name, showing that the word that you have actually conquered all the professional paper, that you have overcome like hundreds of sleepless nights, that you have been through all all the exams. Yeah. So basically, yeah, this is what I want to say, that yeah, this will actually worth your time and also your money for getting all these professional qualifications.
I see. Thank you,
Yeah.
Maggie. Kevin, next, do I have to come from a background of business in order to pursue MBA? Or it could be anything, from example, the science background can also do MBA?
Everywhere we look, there's business. Now, I'm an Apple fan, so I've got an iPhone, I've got a mouse. Everything we look at, there's a business context. So whether you've studied dance, whether you've studied engineering, there's still a business associated to that. So if you have a dance school, that dance school will have accountants who have studied ACCA that will run their finances for them. It will have marketing experts. So you don't need to have a business background. And when I meet with young students at high school, what I often share with them is there's no rush to study business, because business waits for everybody. All you need to do is complete your undergraduate degree, or of course your ACCA, and the MBA will be there waiting for you. Of course, some MBAs may be subject to work experience, 2 years, 5 years, some even 10 years, but anybody can study business, because undergrad students often become technical experts, and then they want to learn, right, how do I make money from this? So anybody from any background, providing they have the relevant CGPA, they can then subsequently study a business program at master's level or an MBA.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Yep. Maggie, nowadays it's all about IR 4.0. What's the future like for accounting? What is the possible career pathway for an accountant?
I would say that artificial intelligence, AI, can be very, very powerful, and they are actually improving very, very quickly. They can actually provide outputs that can be extremely accurate, replacing, and in some cases is far superseding all the humans' effort, you know. And however, what I want to say is they do not replicate humans' intelligence, although they have AI. Okay, so we need to recognize the strengths and limits of these different intelligence, and we can build the understanding of the best ways for the humans, and also how we can work together with the computers. For example, we can actually the accountants are able to get all the data like in real time with this AI assistant. They can also actually facilitate data extract from a very huge pool of a data group of data, and they can actually also raise a very good or high quality or higher accuracy and more details to improve the efficiency of the data that they have retrieved from this pool of data. So what I want to say is, although everyone will be saying that okay, with this AI, I think there's no more accountants, or accountants, there will be no more jobs for us. I mean, I would say that professional accountants who are well versed in these new technologies, right, they are likely remain very strong in demand if you can cope with all these digital,
okay. All right, thank you, Maggie. Kevin, we often also get this question from our students. Do I need to have minimum working experience to study MBA? Maybe you can tell us more, especially the Coventry MBA.
Yes, but no, but yes, but no, but yes, but no, depending on the MBA that you want. So at London, no, not at all. Whereas Coventry, you need at least 2 years of managerial experience. That may not be managing of people, it may be processes, it may be something else within an organization. And also, an MBA will actually allow a student the other way around, in that if they don't have an undergraduate degree, but they have significant work experience, now there's no limit on that as such, but let's say 10 years, where they can demonstrate they have the ability to pass the course, they're also invited in. So there's lots of flexibility depending upon the type of MBA that a student wants. If it's an executive MBA, that will often look for 10 years experience, but the Coventry ones are London, no work experience, Coventry, at least 2 years of managerial experience.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Maggie, what is the requirement in order to begin the journey in ACCA?
Normally, if the students have like 2 A levels and also 3 IGCSE papers, okay, with the separate subject including, but this must be including the English and mathematics. So with this, they are actually eligible to go into this course, yeah, to start the ACCA or our advanced diploma course.
All right, thank you, Maggie. Okay, Kevin, next is, how does an MBA degree provide me competitive advantages?
Money, 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 and money. I had to go and research the answer to this question because when I was a student, an MSc would have been the default, or an MA, then an MBA later on, but times have changed. And I was looking at a QS survey, and what it showed was that students that completed an MBA, I'm going to read this word for word just so that I'm not misquoted and students don't contact me in 10 years' time saying, why am I not earning this money? So according to a QS Top MBA report, MBA are among the highest paid graduates on the job market. And the average income for an MBA is much higher than an employee with a regular master's. So QS state that reports that the average salary for an MBA grad in the UK in US dollars is $92,400 with an average bonus of 30,000. Now we must bear in mind the centre of financial markets are in central London, so some of them will be earning millions and some slightly less, but it just goes to show the return on investment that MBA grads do get. So it is quite significant. And I also spend time in the subcontinent. Every job advert I see, and I find it strange sometimes, it asks for an MBA grad. So actually there are jobs designed just for MBA graduates. So there's the competitive advantage, because I see it in job advertisements, and that's how students prepare themselves, by satisfying the criteria set out in the job advertisement. So that would be it, based upon the QS Top MBA report. But what was interesting, whilst the UK was in the top 10 of countries, it was in the top 4, I believe, in terms of graduate salaries with an MBA. Number 1 in the world, students, bear this in mind if you're chasing the money, the highest paid MBA grads in the world are in Switzerland, which is a tax haven. So there you go, bear that in mind for the future. Switzerland MBA grads get paid more than any other country in the world.
It's interesting to know that, Kevin.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing the information with us. All right, Maggie, at this stage, Malaysia and Indonesia are in the amber travel list, while Singapore is in the green travel list to the UK. So what are the current UK travel regulations for the amber list and also the green travel list?
As far as I checked this afternoon, normally for the amber list, they are firstly they're supposed to take a COVID test before they leave the country, and then they should book and pay for a day 2 and day 8 of COVID test upon the arrival in England, and then they have to complete a passenger locator form when they arrive there. And upon the arrival, you need to be quarantined at home or the place where you are staying for at least 10 days. And you should take a COVID test on day 2 or on or after day 8. And if you are from the green list, basically you just have to take the COVID test before you leave the country, and you just have to book and pay for the COVID test for the day 2. And same, you have to complete the passenger locator form. And upon the arrival, you must take the COVID test on or before day 2. And you do not need to quarantine unless your result is positive. And if you are when you are in UK, and if let's say you travel with someone who are tested positive, you are required to be quarantined. Yeah, if the NHS call you. So yeah, these are the slight differences between the amber and also the green list. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Kevin, from your side, do you have anything else to add on about this?
If I may add, just to comment on the red list, if for any reason countries in Southeast Asia drop into the red list, the difference between red and amber is the amber is self-quarantine, so you can go to your student accommodation, no problem. But if you're on the red list, then you have to go into government quarantine. Fortunately, in Southeast Asia, nobody's on the red list at this moment in time. But it's a forever changing environment. So just referring to Maggie, she emphasized today that's the information. I check as and when you're traveling just to make sure that what you have is up to date. And if you just type COVID UK UKFCO, the link will come up and it will give you a list of what countries fall into what categories.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Kelvin.
correct. Yeah, because like Malaysia now is getting so high cases. Hopefully, it won't fall
Yeah.
under the red list. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a concern too.
Please no.
Please no. Yeah. Okay. Kevin, another questions for you. Entrepreneurship is also a hot topic. Is there any relationship between the entrepreneurship and MBA?
Yes, I mean, you can study an MBA in entrepreneurship, you can study an MA in entrepreneurship, you can study an MSc in entrepreneurship. So it does get confusing when a student wants to study entrepreneurship. I've covered the MBA components. So what an MBA in entrepreneurship will do, 4 core modules and then 4 entrepreneurship modules. On a entrepreneurship program, the curriculum teaches the fundamentals of a specific science whilst applying business applications related to that particular area. So it really focuses on the soft skills, because an entrepreneur is like being an artist. At high school, my teacher, Mrs. Davenport, wrote on my homework, Kevin, this is terrible, please try again. I took it back and she said, Kevin, this is worse than your first attempt, please see me. What I learned from that is I was never going to be an artist because I didn't have that God-given skill. And it's the same in entrepreneurial environment, because you need to be resilient. You need to be a certain type of individual. So an MA or an MSc will focus more on opportunity recognition. What is an opportunity? It will look at marketing, but it will look at marketing specifically for entrepreneurs and new business. Marketing is an area where we can spend a lot of money, waste a lot of money, and there's no return on investment. I set up a business some time ago, and I spent so long on my branding and my website, which generated 0 income. It gave me no money, no business whatsoever. So what the entrepreneurship program will do, it will really help you to project manage your own business and put it into a logical order of implementation. And it will teach you where to spend money when money's right, but it will also help you see opportunities where nobody else does. I'll give you an example. Which one shall I give? Target, the supermarket chain store in the US. Now, their money is based upon selling produce, and they have systems that they've built that will tell them how many chocolate bars do they have on a shelf in Illinois, how many cans of Coke do they have in the fridge at a particular store in New York. So they built this amazing software, and for them it was an overhead. It was never an income stream. Then they saw that the American government were losing track of criminals. And they went to the government saying, hang on, I can tell you how many peanuts we've got in bags of peanuts we've got in a particular store. How can you tell us where this human being, how come you can't tell where these human beings are? So what they did is they turned what was an overhead into an income, and they sold this software to the US government. And there's many examples like that, that traditionally the normal person, the naked eye, would not see, but an entrepreneur will see an opportunity where nobody else does. So there is a direct link, but it's a very different skill set for a very different type of individual. And I think, and it's something universities can't evaluate, it is a God-given skill that somebody has that a university can nurture and help develop to make that individual into a successful entrepreneur.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Next, Maggie, what's the vaccination process or status for the student in the UK? Is there any further advice for students who are planning to go to the UK to further their studies?
Yes, I would say that, for example, like international students who live in the UK, where they have actually registered with a GP, they will be able to access to the COVID-19 vaccination in the UK, just like all the other, like the other students or the other EU citizens are having it in the UK itself. And this means that if, let's say, the older international students or students who are underlying medical condition, they will actually fall into the priority categories in the same way as anyone else in the UK itself. So for students who are going to UK, I would say that if I'm in Malaysia, if let's say you have not had your vaccine, maybe perhaps you can do it in the UK itself, because I guess it will be, you will get it much earlier compared to before you leave the country. So yeah, I would say that if you are planning to leave in September, maybe perhaps you can just go get your jab from the UK itself. Yeah, and it's covered by NHS fee. So no worries, and don't worry about the vaccine that from the UK itself. So that you don't need to rush and get your vaccine like in Malaysia, because it's quite difficult for you to do it here now.
True, that's true. Because Malaysia currently is still a bit slow in the vaccination process. So that's a very good advice from Maggie, that probably students
because
going to UK can do it in the UK.
Yeah, because as per our state, I mean our age group, right? It shouldn't they shouldn't be starting until end of this year or early next year. So maybe perhaps I think getting your jab in the UK would be much better compared to you wait in Malaysia to get it in Malaysia.
Okay. Kevin, anything else to add on regarding this question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Maggie. I want to contradict you, and only because it's an ever-changing environment. So the UK are currently vaccinating, I believe, those over 30. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
And the need to be vaccinated before you travel may not be a government decision. It may become an airline decision that they will insist on passengers showing a COVID passport. So there are lots of rumours, but nothing's confirmed. So whilst it is easier to access the vaccinations in the UK, I do fear that there'll be a global shift. And for governments to agree that will be impossible, because they won't collectively agree this is what we want, but the airlines are talking about it. So whilst I agree with Maggie that it is so much easier in the UK, keep an eye on what the airlines are saying, because they may limit travel and only allow travel upon production of a COVID passport. That's merely rumour at the moment, not confirmed, but like when we spoke about COVID earlier, check the most recent updates before you travel, or contact the university that you're joining, and they'll give you the most up-to-date information.
You're right. Because I actually heard some of university, they are planning to have the vaccine in their university itself. So they are applying for this, and if those students that are without vaccination, then maybe perhaps they can get it in the university itself, and they do not need to go to the GP. But if let's say airline don't really allow them to board the flight, then I'm not too sure what's going to happen.
They will make things complicated.
Can I ask a quick question? I did read something recently about Malaysian students having to get approval to travel from the ministry.
They should need, I mean, the students should apply for My Travel Pass in order for you to travel out from Malaysia. So basically, I have actually emailed our government department to ask them actually how many days do you need. And they actually told me at the current situation should be 5 to 7 days, but it depends on the application. So I'm not too sure how long that they need. I don't know. But this is their standard answer.
Okay. Thank you for sharing this, Maggie and Kevin. This is a very important question from our students too. All right. So next, I think we will take some time for questions now. Just a reminder, be sure that you type your question into the Q&A box. All right. So now we start with the first questions. So this question, I think, is for Kevin. Is there any difference on MBA duration study for those with or without working experience?
No, they can both be studied within a one-year cycle. There is a difference if students want to study what we call extended professional practice, but that's a separate option, and it's only available on the Fresher MBA. But the short answer is no difference in course duration at all. They're all 3-semester programs.
Okay, that's good to know. All right. Next, for Maggie, from your point of view, accreditation, do you think credential triple crown more valuable in the industry compared to ACCA?
I would say that it depending on how or your job that requires you. As far as I understand, the triple crown is basically the accreditation for those MBAs that the award in the MBAs. But for this ACCA, this is actually a professional qualification which needed for you to be as to be a chartered accountant. So I would say that it's actually depending on what is your intention. If you were to become a chartered accountant, I think not only ACCA, professional qualification is real important. But as far as what Kevin explained, like like the entire entire MBA course, like for entire night. Yeah, this triple gown I think is one of the luxury a brand for students who are aiming to get a higher class MBA. Is it correct, Kevin? yeah, but if you
I think
ask,
that's fair. If I can jump in, I know the other question was aimed at you.
yeah.
That you can often study an MBA or an accounting qualification with multiple stamps. You can do a master's that has a CMI or a CIM stamp. What that does is it confirms quality, but you're paying an additional premium for a brand, which often results in the exact same curriculum, that there's no huge variation. So it's merely, and I'm stealing your words, Maggie, it's a brand.
Yeah.
Have we just lost our host?
I'm not too sure. Maybe are you still here?
Sorry, I'm here. So sorry, yeah. So I pressed wrongly, so sorry. Okay, we have next question for Maggie here. So for student completing grade 12 from Indonesia, is it eligible for the direct entry program for Bachelor Accounting at BPP?
As far as I remember, no. They should have a foundation before they can join our Bachelor in Accountancy. So we normally need them to have we will actually put them into our advanced diploma compared to Bachelor. But if the student insists to start with a Bachelor degree, then yes, we need them to have a foundation background before they can join us.
I see. Okay, that's good to know. The last question we have is, what is the least requirement to be employed by the Big Four accounting firm?
Least requirement, normally I would say that as long as you have completed your professional qualification, for you to get a job from the Big Four is nothing, it's not difficult, I would say that. But the competition is there. I mean, because everyone nowadays, they actually have it's either a professional qualification, or they actually have a additional master degree. So when you are in that particular interview, I think they should actually perform, and they can actually, they can actually answer the interviewer's question well, in order for them to show up what their skills that they have when they are doing their master degree. Yeah, I would say that some of the students who they have completed the ACCA, they might not be able to do as well. I mean, it really depends on the individual itself. Yeah, in order to show what you have in your CV, or what skills that you have. Yeah, in order for the Big Four to hire you, I would say that.
All right. Thank you, Maggie. Okay, I saw one more question here under the chat box. So I think this is for Kevin. Can I do my MBA in my home country, and before few months before finishing my MBA, can I finish it abroad? I think he probably is asking about credit transfer.
Credit transfers, yes, we're always open. Many UK institutions are quite flexible, providing we can recognise the credits from the home institution. Can you start online? Yes, I think COVID has forced so many universities to be able to operate online. I worked closely with BPP many years ago, and they developed an incredible online platform that was so engaging for students. And I'm sure this was 7 years ago. I'm sure it's advanced since then. So the future of education has changed. It used to be, am I studying online, or sorry, online, or am I studying on campus? They've merged. So the future is hybrid learning. So even if you're on campus, there'll be an online component. But to answer your question, can I study the first semester online? Sorry, I can't see the question. From home? Yes, universities and Coventry will be much more open to it than they ever were before. Before, you'd have had to have made a choice. Do I study online or offline? So at this moment in time, yes, but you must indicate in advance that your plans are to have a hybrid approach, because if you say you want to study online, you'll go to a different part of the university, which is called CU Online, and the support and the process is completely different to, if I call it, an on-campus program. So the hybrid is an on-campus program with an online component. Online is a different part of the university. But if I may, I just want to add to Maggie's point. I heard a great thing in a webinar the other day. There was a question just now about almost, it read as if I chill out with my studies, can I still get a good job? And I heard this quote, and I'm going to steal it and share it with everybody. Those that work hard when they're young can play hard when they're older. Those that play hard when they're young have to work hard when they're older. So just to respond to that question, the best jobs are reserved for the best graduates. So bear that in mind. If you chill out and expect you to be spoon-fed later on, it may not work. So do study hard. And sorry for jumping on your question there, Maggie. I love that quote, and I'm trying to share it as often as I can with everybody.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for sharing. It's very good point from you.
Yep.
All right. It looks like we have covered all the questions tonight. So maybe we can start with Maggie. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before a wrap up?
Okay, I will just share a little bit on our scholarship. If you need additional support with funding your studies, and if you're able to demonstrate your academic excellence, strong reference, or also relevant work experience, you may be eligible to apply for a scholarship or bursary. And we are actually committed to support the brightest future talent from all the backgrounds. So if you are interested, you can actually speak to AECC, and they will actually help you on this. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Maggie. Kevin,
No
how
problem.
about you? Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add on from your side?
What can I add? I should have saved my statement just now. Study hard when you're young.
Anything else?
Referring to Maggie's point that, you know, the limitations are often finances, and we can support you as institutions, Coventry and BPP, but it is reserved often for the best students. So by studying hard today will increase your opportunities and options later on, because every university will want you. And how universities encourage you to study with us at Coventry is by introducing financial incentives. So if you've got 3.0 CGPA or above, that's when you're in good territory. If you've got 3.5, that's when things get exciting. And the closer you get to 4, assuming you're on a JPA system out of 4, that's when mum and dad go to dinner party clubs and say, hey, my son got a scholarship, how much did you get? So it gives bragging rights as well. So don't think that the next bit is easy. By preparing now will make the next part and the transition much easier. But if you do have more questions about Coventry, the MBAs, or any other programs, please contact. And this has been so confusing, AECC, because every time I said AECC, I was thinking ACCA. Don't contact contact AECC.
Don't confuse, Kevin. AECC.
Please contact AECC.
All right. Thank you so much. So tonight we have learned a lot of facts on the maths, business, and accounting. I hope everyone enjoyed the sessions tonight. We also have other sessions with different subjects areas that don't require you to be good in maths. Upcoming topics will be fashion, game arts, psychology, and law. If you have any other questions regarding study in the UK, please feel free to contact us. Another exciting thing before you go, we would like to invite you to join our Australia-UK Virtual Education Fair on the upcoming 12th June from 2 to 6 p.m. We also have VIP one-to-one virtual session from the 8th to 19th June for you to meet up with your preferred choice of UNICE representative. Come and join us any day and ask any question that you want to ask. Yeah, clarify all your doubts. So you may register from the link in the chat box there. Okay. Then our counselors will be in touch with you. All right. So once again, thank you, Kevin and Maggie, for the very informative presentation tonight. And thank you. Thank you everyone who joined us. We love having you tonight and hope to see you all in the upcoming sessions too. Good night and stay safe, everyone. Bye.
Bye.